Hi everyone at home at Cadred.org. We're here with James Banks. He's, I guess, one of the legends in esports journalism, maybe esports media. He's been around for a very long time indeed. And just to get straight into it, I was actually quite surprised to see you come out wearing a TCM jersey when you come out day one, because, I mean, you're with d-esports for all I know. What happened with that?
Well, let's start by, I wouldn't use the word legend, but thank you very much. The TCM thing came about. Obviously, I'm in the UK, I know the guys very well. Jim and Craig are the owners of TCM. They unfortunately couldn't make it to this event. They had a Shoot Mania team here, a very good Shoot Mania team as well, and a FIFA player taking part in the event. They needed coverage and stuff done, and they needed someone to look after the players. And it just so happened that I was free and not already attending this event, so they were like, oh, we'll send you. And so I'm just helping out some friends, really. And it's been good. The TCM guys are nice, and sadly didn't get kind of the results that we wanted, but it was good. So
what about d-esports then? Is that like on a hiatus, could you say, or is this literally just a makeshift thing that we won't see again?
d-esports will never be on a hiatus. Basically, everything we do, we comes from my own investment. Other people who work on our website give us some investment, as well as our sponsors who have been very great. But we are a small and very new company still, so getting enough money to come to every event we want to isn't quite possible yet. But we will be in China for the WCS. Blizzard kindly gave us a paid trip to that. They seen our work, liked our work. We did WCS UK and the Nordic one as well. And we had Henry in Australia to attend that one as well. So we've done a few of the WCS events, and they kindly rewarded us with being able to go to China. So we will be there, and I'm hoping we can get down to DreamHack Winter as well.
Right, so let's go back in time for about a year. Back when d-esports was actually coming to be. You used to be with an organization called Up Close Gamers, which back then was starting to get there, and then all of a sudden it kind of died down, and this is where d-esports comes. So what happened to the Up Close Gamers organization, and how did you set up d-esports as a result of that?
Up Close Gamers was really great. It was an amazing 6 months. I was on a contract work for it. I was the face of the product and the brand, sponsored by BenQ and Zowie, but there were people behind the scene that didn't kind of want it to go the direction which I was trying to put it in. We were doing kind of roundups, a lot of video work, photo work. We were right in between everything, all the big events we were attending. We had a real nice budget. It was great. I wanted to head more towards a streaming direction, start up European shows and things, and this is way before you saw anything like the Good Studio or anything, so I was kind of thinking of doing this before it had even been started. We had disagreements, and then I decided, okay, I'll just leave and I'll start my own company. A big risk, but I did it.
Would you say, because you've been around for a very long time, would you say that you have a sort of specialty that not a lot of organizations can house? Would you say it's a really personal take on esports that you're trying to bring through the esports?
I came into esports when I was like 13 years old. I was playing Counter-Strike, and the only reason I did that is I'm diabetic, and I used to be an active kid, didn't get so active, so I thought, oh, start playing some games and stuff. My dad got me an actual computer rather than just playing on my PS1. Started playing CS. Since then I've been involved. I've always done like news work, just standard like scene news about team changes. Then I went into some higher roles of doing features. Then I started coming to events, and I started to really learn a lot around 2006, 2007, if I've got the dates right, when Carmack was at SK, and I was also there. He's a very intelligent man for journalism and for esports, and I learned a lot from him. But no, I think I've just stuck in esports so long now, and it's been since I was very young, that it's just a part of me and something I can't leave or don't want to leave.
So you personally think that video content is your forte? You'd say that that's your specialty. What makes the d-esports video content better than other sites, perhaps even ours, and what do you think about the competition that you get? Because we get a lot of people that go, well, you know, this interview is about 2 minutes, really generic, I didn't really learn anything about it. Do you think you are competing with these people?
I know who you're on about exactly there. I think that for worldwide, there is a lot of competition from the US. You've got like ESWC, now GameSpot and stuff, but some of their interviews, I don't really like the way they do it. I prefer the European kind of way of doing it. You watch Carmack's type interviews, my interviews, Richard's interviews. I think for me, I really want to focus on video content. I love doing interviews and stuff. It's what I enjoy doing. I wouldn't say I'm the best. Every individual has their own, like, they like a certain style of interview. So some people will like me more than Richard, and some people like Richard more than me, and some people hate both of us and prefer someone else. Like, that's just the way it works. And as long as I'm doing what I think is good off my own knowledge of esports and understanding of the players, and I think I'm making an interesting content that people are going to enjoy, then I'm happy at the end of the day. There have been times where I've done an interview and then I look at it and go, that was really, like, that wasn't up to standard, and I can see why it got these views. But at the same time, some go viral, or like on Reddit and stuff, and I don't think it was a good interview, and then it turns out to get like 20,000 hits, and you're like, fair enough, they just enjoyed it. So in esports, there's so many journalists out there. There are a lot of journalists doing it wrong, but there's the ones that are doing it right. They do get good recognition, but sometimes not so much a deserved recognition.
Right. So let's go down an entirely different avenue here. You are also known for being the European manager of startale, which is obviously one of the most prestigious Korean organizations out there. We have a Squirtle here, we've got Bomber at MLG, probably another few players. What is your role specifically, and how does it, affect you as an esports journalist?
A role specifically in startale is very hard to pin down. I've done everything from videos to talking to potential partnerships with non-Korean teams, to talking to other players and just finding out general information, to looking after the players at events and stuff, like these events, like Squirtle here. And as well, I control all the social media, like the YouTube and stuff. We've got a new website that's going to launch soon on startale.co.kr. You've got kind of like a splash page at the moment, but soon that'll be live. And I know there's going to be a mix of like English and Korean content for that. Startale's just, I can't really put myself down as just doing one thing, but I really enjoy it. I started back in August last year, and that came about simply because I went there. We had the same sponsor, both sponsored by BenQ, and they wanted to offer me a chance to work with them because they liked what I was doing and they could see it being beneficial for them. So that's what we did, and ever since then it's been going really well. Now,
as a journalist, do you think it could be used against you as a sort of tool to say your integrity is sort of out of the question now because you are with them and you maybe are biased towards them?
No, that's a good question. It's 100%. People say that all the time. You're just going to be biased. But if you watch any of my interviews I've done with the startale guys, it's not biased at all, and I just do the similar styles of what I do in all my interviews. But you might just see I maybe look a bit more comfortable with them, having known them so long. And I also try to help other journalists at the events, and I think a lot of journalists can vouch for me for that, is to say that I won't just say startale only interview with me. I will let them be interviewed by everyone, because for startale as a brand, we need everyone to be talking to our players so they get seen everywhere. So I'll never be like, screw the other organisations and just focus on mine. I just keep them as two separate entities.
Right. And then to wrap it down, we're here at ESWC. There's always a lot of talk when we're at ESWC events, and most of it is not really positive. I mean, you've been around the block. Give us your perspective on how they ran this ESWC tournament, not specifically for one game, maybe the general picture.
My overall perspective of ESWC this time round is it's gone a lot downhill since last time. The older ESWCs from like 2005 to 7 were really prestigious. You'd want to be here. It was to represent your country, and everyone was really happy with it. Last year I was here doing coverage for Up Close Gamers. We got treated quite bad as press. A few players had complaints, but I've never heard more complaints than I have this time, and it's kind of worrying, because you look at events like DreamHack and ESL over in Europe, or even MLG and stuff like that. They're doing it right and they're trying to be innovative, where here they just seem to be standard. They're not really changing anything, and it's just getting behind the times. Like Dailymotion for streaming, their views have been pretty terrible from what I've seen. If they had it on Twitch or something, I'm pretty sure they would have been 100 times better. And also the casting as well. You have great casters, but you look at every other event in Europe, they have English casters, the one you can hear. Right now we can hear the French casters. Well, you've got people from all over the world. English is pretty high-spoken language, so it's an odd setup. It seems very French, and they just care about, like, not being horrible to French people. I love the French people, but it's very French-driven, and it doesn't seem to be much care about anything else. And as a manager for startale, I felt very sorry for a player like Squirtle here, who did very badly because an admin was trying to rush him, and like they weren't listening to us. I was saying, look, he needs a bit more time. We had to get his hand warmers and stuff. The Korean ESWC organizer was trying to help me as well, but the admin's just like, you must play now, and there's not really a respect between the staff and the players, which there should be, that you see at events like DreamHack. Like, I mentioned someone here from DreamHack called Huggy. He's the head admin for StarCraft 2, I believe. I hope I didn't get that wrong. But he's great. Every time I needed anything or some help, he was helping me, looking after my players when we had July and Bomber over. I want these kind of admins who are actually esports. A lot of these guys here, I'm not quite sure if they are or not, but I know it's a very stressful event and I appreciate that, but at the same time they need to work with us and the players to make this successful, because the better we can work and the more power we're given, the better we can make the exposure for their event and sponsors. So I think after they finish this event, they need to really come back to the drawing board, look at it again, and like say, next year we need to do this, this and this better. Maybe have a look at events like DreamHack and ESL and learn from that.
Do you fear maybe that the French should be a little bit too stubborn to do that? Do you think maybe it's like a dinosaur that'll go extinct real quick? Because from what I've heard and from what you've heard, there's not really a lot of players that are looking forward to the ESWC of next year, and this is spread around the board. Is that concerning?
It does seem like that. A lot of players have said like, oh, I chose to go here rather than MLG Dallas, and I wish I went to Dallas now. And I was really surprised to hear that. And I was speaking to a couple of players from the American sides, and they were saying like, oh yeah, this has just been a ball ache for us really. They would have rather not come. And that's a great shame to hear. I have told them that it's not all like this, and ESWC just seems to be stuck back in like 2005, 2007 and hasn't really moved with the times. Hopefully next year they'll take on this criticism and not take it negatively or too badly and improve, and that's all I can hope for. If not, we're just going to see ESWC decline even more and maybe disappear again like it did a couple of years ago.
Alright, I guess that about wraps it up, I guess. So what we're going to do is, it's always nice chatting to you. We'll probably catch a beer later today like we did last night. For everyone out there on the internet, I'm sorry for my voice. We've been battling the cold, we've been battling the stress, everything that ESWC brings, you'll know about this. So excuses for that, but please do stay tuned for more coverage from Cadred.org live here at ESWC 2012.